Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have a delicious spin on a traditional casserole for you. Now, chicken casserole comes in many forms. My mother has a highly prized recipe for chicken casserole, but today we're going to show you how to put a little spin on that traditional casserole. I like to do as much as I can ahead of time, so this casserole really helps me because on meal prep days, I can do some of this ahead of time, and then even I don't have to put it together. I can go ahead and cook everything and get it ready, and then we can come back and make the sauce and then put it together and then bake it in the oven whenever we need it. It also can be made ahead of time and wrapped tightly and kept in the freezer until time to bake. Now, with that being said, it does have pasta in it, so if you are intending to freeze it, just make sure that you slightly undercook that pasta so that it won't get too mushy if you do decide to freeze it. So this is our spin on a pan-fried chicken casserole. And now I'm going to talk a minute about what I've done ahead of time. So I have taken a cup and a half of chicken, which is about a little over a pound, and I have cubed it up into small cubes, and then with just a little olive oil and butter, I have cooked it, sauteed it until it's nice and brown and crispy so that it is pan fried instead of fried. Now, of course, if you wanted to batter it and fry it, you could, and do this very same thing with this recipe and have a fried chicken casserole. We're, however, trying to cut a few calories here and there when we can, so we have opted for the pan fry option here. Also, this recipe calls for 4 cups of cooked pasta, and today I'm using what I had on hand, which is rotini, and I have already cooked it, drained it, and I slightly undercooked it just till it's al dente so that it won't cook too much and turn to mush whenever we put it in the oven. So I've drained it, cooled it, and I have it set aside along with that chicken that I pan fried. Now, traditionally, a lot of chicken casseroles have things in them like soups, canned soups, and that's fine because I love those types of casseroles around the holidays and things like that. But I also am a huge proponent of fundamentals of cooking so that you can learn how to make sauces or bases or bechamels for your own creations. And that's what this casserole likes to highlight. So I have 6 tablespoons of butter that I have melted in the very same pan that I cooked my chicken in. So I don't like cleaning up the kitchen, so I like to reuse a lot of stuff too. And if this were an oven-safe skillet, you could totally do all of this and cook it in there. However, I have a wooden handle, so we're not gonna put it in the oven. All right, so I have melted my butter, and now we're gonna show you how to make this all come together. All right, so I have melted my butter, and to that I'm going to add, let's see, about 3/4 cup of chopped onion and 4 tablespoons of garlic. And we're just gonna add those in our melted butter. Sorry, my measurements just kind of left me to begin with. And then we're just gonna cook these just for a minute, just to slightly sweat out that onion. And what this does is this infuses that butter with the flavor from the onion and the garlic, because those are gonna be 2 huge flavor proponents for what we're doing. And I like to just cook it just until they become fragrant. I let my nose tell me whenever things like garlic and butter are ready. All right, now to this we're gonna add about, 4 tablespoons of flour. Sorry, I'm having a hard time today. 4 tablespoons of flour. about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper, and then we have 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika and 2 teaspoons of dried mustard and a pinch of red pepper flakes. And you can use cayenne or you can leave those out. That's fine too. But this is going to be the base of our sauce. So we want to add that in. And I'm going to turn my heat down just a smidge. And then we're going to cook this for about a minute. Now I'm going to add in my salt and my pepper, which I said just about 1/4 teaspoon. And we just want to cook it just for about a minute until that flour cooks through and actually absorbs the flavors from the seasonings and the butter, as well as the onion and the garlic. But we want to be careful, we don't want it to burn, so we're going to keep it moving. All right, and so now to this we're going to add about 1.5 cups of milk, and that slows things down, but will also help this thicken. And I like using the cup soups, they're fine. But if you can really hone in a skill on how to make a basic cream sauce, then you've really done something and you've learned a really versatile tool. All right, so then we add in 1/2 cup of sour cream. And that just helps give us a little more smoothness, and it'll actually help thicken the sauce a little faster. And you'll see it doesn't take it long till it comes up over that. This is probably medium, low to medium heat. And it's nice and thick. So there we have our base for our sauce. And now I have about 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese, and I'm gonna add half of that into my sauce mixture. And I have turned my heat off, and that's important. When we add that cheese in, it kind of seals the deal. And now we have a cheesy, flavorful bechamel sauce. And now to this, I'm gonna add in the pasta and the pre-cooked chicken. I'm gonna use my spoon just to kind of stir that up. Kind of fold it in and get that sauce good and incorporate it in. And look how cheesy it is. Woo! Making my mouth water a little bit. And this casserole is so great because you can actually take it and do all kind of things with it. You could use pre-cooked hamburger meat or ground turkey and have like a chili mac, or you could use a pulled rotisserie chicken if you didn't want to go to the trouble of making your own pan fried or regular fried chicken. Anything is great. This is a great casserole to put together to use up leftovers even. So now I have a casserole dish, and I'm going to lightly spray it. And then we're going to transfer our casserole into it. And spread it out. All that cheese is stringing everywhere. All right. So there we have it. We have our casserole in our prepared pan. This will go into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Then we will take it out and garnish it with a little fleck of green, and then we will serve it and show you how delicious it is. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, we are back. We finished a 30-minute cook time, and I did let it sit just a minute so that it wouldn't be way too hot to handle. One of the things that I forgot to mention before we popped it in the oven was the other half of that 1.5 cups of cheese. You do want to top it with the remainder of that cheese before you put it into the oven, and we did do that. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what it looks like, and then we're going to dip it out and show you how beautiful it is. So you have this wonderful cheese top, and the pasta is cooked all nice in there, and everything that we put in here was already cooked. So the 30 minutes at 350 is actually more than enough time to kind of just bring everything together and make that sauce kind of become part of the dish. And look, it's all done, and all that sauce has just melted into the rest of the casserole. So now you can take this and you can garnish it with just a little bit of green, and I'm doing it with basil, but I also like to use green onion tops too. Just adds a really nice pop of color on there and adds just a little bit of mild flavor to it too. But it's optional, just like the red pepper flake, it's optional. But y'all, we have that perfectly cooked pan-fried chicken and all that cheesy goodness, and with the pasta, and it's the perfect bite. And it kind of changes the way you think about chicken casserole, right? You don't have to fill it up full of sodium-filled soups. You can make your own sauce right in the same pan. So, if you learn nothing else from this recipe, learn that making a really good casserole doesn't have to be filled with a can of this and a can of that. You can use really basic, simple ingredients as simple as butter and flour, and bring it all together and add a little splash of milk in there. This casserole will help you learn how to take those fundamentals and build on them, and then they can be applied across the board to lots of things that you cook. And this cheese sauce is fantastic on its own. You could totally make it and just put it in a serving dish and eat it with some chips or some raw veggies, and it's perfect just like it is. So just like all of our other buttered home recipes, this one can be found at thebutteredhome.com. We also invite you to browse around there. You might find something else you like. And as usual, if you're not already, be sure that you're following us on all of our social channels. We cook live over at Facebook and Instagram, and would love to have you there, as well as our pre-recorded videos over at YouTube. So be sure that you visit us there and hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when we drop new videos like this one. As usual, I've got to go because we've got some pan-fried chicken casserole to eat, but we hope you make this and love it and will let us know about it. So until next time, from the buttered home to your home, we love y'all. Bye.